Look.
Listen.
Taylor.
It's episode 47 of Look, Listen with Geese and Guyera and Taylor. This week, it's a Pokemon about podcasts and other things. It always happens. Hey, and every Friday you get a new one. Isn't that crazy or something?
It's very exciting. Something to look forward to.
Clambos, it's a big, exciting episode. I just got the email from Spotify for Podcasters. It says, congratulations, 1 year ago today, you uploaded your first episode of Look, Listen Cast. That was episode 0, so do I really count it? I don't think so.
I would say so. Can people listen to it?
Yeah.
Can
According
people
to Geese, this means she's now done. Her obligation is fulfilled. So
1 year contract completed. Good job. Good job.
She's not going to be here today, but we'll try to make do. That's normally where you would say something, Geese, but
I like the commitment to the bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was committing to the bit. That's what I was doing.
That's a good commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice job, Geese.
Okay. Moving right on along. Clambos, let's go because we got a lot to cover and Taylor's got to pee and I've got to I'm the only human being on the planet that hasn't seen Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man Across the Universe 2, because they always got to release movies when I'm going to dumb, stupid work. And every day I buy a ticket for the early showing, and every day I'm too sleepy to go, so I cancel the ticket. At one point, I had 2 IMAX tickets in my AMC wallet, and I didn't even realize it.
You should just not cancel it, so they consider it people going to the movie, and they're all excited about it.
But their stats track if you scan it, and so if I don't scan it, then I'm in big trouble.
Big trouble.
Big trouble. But I'm finally going to watch it today. As soon as we finish here, I'm going to rush over to the Spider-Man house and watch Stinking Spider-Man. But in other news that's not Spider-Man, Clambos, let me tell you about my watching this week.
Hold on. I need to say a joke. I was going to say, if he doesn't go to the IMAX, Nicole Kidman comes and breaks his knees.
Oh, gosh. I remember the first time I saw that thing. Such a good ad.
I've never seen it.
What? You've never seen the Nicole Kidman thing in the theater?
She must not go to AMC?
AMC theater, yeah. When I go to the movies, I go when I visit Aaron, and we go to a Flicks Brew House. So.
Okay.
Such a ripoff of Alamo Draft House.
Yeah, they'll probably have. I'm sure Nicole Kidman will get in bed with them too. Don't worry.
Okay, Clambos, GDQ is finished. It was very sick. Everybody enjoyed themselves. Oh my God, I am furious. I told my computer, don't send me any notifications. And it says, hey, here's a video on a channel you never watch. Okay, all right. The Zelda one was crazy. The Breath of the Wild blindfolded. There's a lot of blindfolded this year. A lot of blindfolded. But they played a lot of games that were sick. Anyway.
What was the, did they do any RPGs?
Oh, yeah. Big time.
I've been watching so many Final Fantasy 9, Breath of the Wild 4, Chrono Cross, all of those runs.
Breath of the Wild 4.
I meant Breath of Fire 4. Sorry, the pneumonia is making its way to my brain.
Taylor has pneumonia. Geese is dying. I'm really dying. I need to go to a doctor. Okay.
If we all die at the same time because we don't upload, somebody's going to assume that it was something on the internet that killed us, and that's my favorite thing. And I hope that somebody's been watching a bunch of horror movies like Dark Web, Unfriended Dark Web or whatever. So they do some investigating, you know?
Clambos. On Friday at midnight, so Friday 11:59 p.m., I went to the midnight showing of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood at Quentin Tarantino's theater, and it was so super sick. I believe the 35 millimeter print we watched is called a show print. It's Quentin's personal copy, and I believe it's called show print number 4.
Oh, that's so sick.
Which he explained that the show prints, I may be wrong with that terminology, so I'm going to look it up later. Apologies if that's not the exact term. But basically, it's the highest quality film you can get because it's taken straight off the negative, and it's the most accurate to what the camera and the people saw on the day of filming. It's just so buttery smooth on that screen, and they're not supposed to be played a lot. They're reserved for only very special occasions like a premiere or an important film festival for a movie to get picked up. So it was so super, super sick.
Was the big man
Okay.
himself there?
Maybe he was hiding in the shadows. I didn't see him.
Sick.
How does the print compare to Mambo number 5?
I don't get the joke.
I
Oh,
was-
because
oh.
it's show print 4?
I don't.
So she says Mambo. She is losing it, Clam. She is laughing so hard.
Guys.
If you say you're having a breakdown. Okay, Clambo's, listen. Here's something really, really sick. At the New Beverly Cinema, which is my new favorite thing to talk about, evidently, they have a pre-show. So I don't know if any of you remember watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but they do have real films that they both show and discuss in the movie. So in the beginning of before the movie plays, you see the actual trailers for those real movies. So the CC and Company, CC Rider, and you see the Wrecking Crew, which are movies featured in the film, and it was very, very sick.
Isn't that how Death Proof and Planet Terror were made? Was because they were fake ads in a movie, and then he was like, I'm going to make these into a double feature?
I believe what you're slightly conflating is those movies, when they played in theaters, I think fake trailers were made at the beginning. Like there was a Danny Trejo one for a fake movie.
Oh, for Machete, right?
Yeah.
And then they turned that into a real movie.
Right.
Okay.
So they made fake
I never
trailers.
saw those.
Death Proof's really good. You should watch Death Proof.
It's right up my alley. Like, I love cheesy stuff like that. I just never watched it for some reason. I mean, campy is the word I'm looking for.
I don't know. Death Proof's pretty serious. But anywho, what I'm saying is this midnight showing was so perfect for me because I've been wanting to rewatch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And I'm not a big rewatcher of films, but for whatever reason, I really wanted to rewatch that movie. And I was looking on streaming. It's not on streaming, so you'd have to pay for it. And I went, and kind of forgot about it. And then when I saw that it was going to have this midnight showing on the actual Quentin's personal copy, 35 millimeter show print number 4, I said, oh, what an opportunity.
Wow. What was your second viewing like?
And the tickets are only $10. It's a great movie. It was, I think did I enjoy it better the second time? I don't know. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's interesting because the stakes are lower than a lot of Quentin Tarantino movies, but there's so much emotion. The arc of Rick Dalton talking to the little girl actor and like the conversations they have and him dealing with his own issues and reading the book about the cowboy that feels useless.
That's actually my favorite Leonardo DiCaprio scene.
And then the little girl whispering into his ear, that's the best acting I've ever seen in my entire life. Such a good arc, that whole thing. And then at the end, you get your big Quentin Tarantino climax, and you get your Inglourious Bastard style reverse history or alternate history kind of thing. It was a wonderful experience. Also, what's super sick about New Beverly is whenever they show a film, the entire theater is filled with posters from that actual film from years ago. So this one had all these fake posters. Well, they had posters for the movies in the movie, and then they had all these Rick Dalton posters for his fake movies.
That's so sick.
Yeah,
that's so sick. $10 ticket too.
Yeah, only $10.
That's amazing.
What a bargain!
What a bargain, Clambo!
I mean, for something that's like a full immersive experience like that, I would expect to pay at least $30.
Oh, well, no, but it's not like, I don't think you get away with charging much more than $10 because it's midnight only, and New Beverly is an old theater. It's not like sitting in one of these super fancy reclining IMAX. You have to be ready to sign up for the experience of what an old theater is like. You're probably going to miss some of the bottom of the screen because of the heads in front of you. It's an old theater, so it's not like an arena style.
I went
You're always moving your head.
Like the only experience I have with like an old theater recently was when we went to see Hadestown a couple years ago on Broadway, and I don't know what I was thinking. It was I guess I was expecting some kind of a comfortable experience, but that was one of the least comfortable moments of my entire life. And the guy next to me and I were both having knee issues with knee surgeries and everything, and we were like, well, what you gonna do? Let's sit on these hard wooden seats.
Yeah, I recall having good experiences and bad experiences in Broadway seats. Most of the shows were fine, but we
Mhm.
had the worst tickets possible for Wicked. I couldn't see anything happening on that stage. So I guess you could enjoy the music, but I couldn't see. We were so far back. It was the Gershwin, I think, is the name of the
It
theater.
When I was in London, when I
Taylor.
was living in London, I took
London!
a thank you, Taylor.
You're
I took
welcome.
a theater in London class, and so every week we went to the theater and we watched theater.
On the West
And
End?
yes, on the West End, but at other places too. And I'll tell you, there's some old theaters in London. Boy, oh boy. And in London, they don't have mics. There's no mics. Maybe one stage mic, but the individual actors don't wear mics. So it's really hard to hear them sometimes.
You gotta project!
Yeah, but it's also hard to understand them because they're also with their British accents.
I
Oh.
hope you left a comment card. I really couldn't understand these accents. What are they doing?
I don't know where they
Like,
did
it wasn't a-
speech training.
I saw Les Mis on at the West End, and I'm pretty sure people were mic'd because it's a big musical. You kind of need to be over all the instruments.
Well, what theater was it? Because I think I was mostly in smaller ones.
I don't recall. It was a long time. I could look it up
Okay.
probably. If you look
Nah,
up
it's okay.
2008 Les Mis London, you probably find it. Okay, moving along. We are spending a lot of time on this.
And that's your watching.
No, yeah. In video games, I have played the brand new released We Love Katamari Reroll plus Royal Revelry. Royal Revelry. Taylor and I did a let's play of the first game that was released. When it released, it was a Switch exclusive. But luckily, We Love Katamari, the sequel, was released on everything on launch day. And the Platinum Trophy is very easy. Unlike Katamari Forever, which is my toughest Platinum that I earned.
Also, a very satisfying game to watch. You would think that you would have to be in the driver's seat to enjoy that properly, but I love just watching that.
Yeah, Katamari's so good. I'll tell you something funny about Katamari on a PS5, though. The Katamari games are known for having fun little loading screens. So you've got the King of the Cosmos' head moving up and down. And you can control it while he says these things. Well, on an SSD, you don't need that. So it does like a fake loading screen for 2 seconds, and then it just launches in the game because to load a Katamari level, you don't need any time on an SSD. It's just there.
That was the fun
Everything's
part about
ready to
playing
roll.
Bloodborne on a PS5 too. Was it's just like, oh, here's a hit, and then it's just gone.
In this game, you can also play as the King of all Cosmos when he was a young man, the size of the prince, rolling up
Oh
stuff from
my.
the past.
Why was the game that you played previously so hard to get a platinum in?
It was just a very difficult platinum. I mean, mainly, I suppose, because you had to do this one challenge where there's a level full of bears. And when I mean full of bears, I mean from the tiniest little bear toy on the ground, a pixel big, to regular bears walking around, giant flying bears flying around, little bear people in little bear shirts, little bear balloons. The entire level is nothing but bears and a few other things scattered there.
What a
And
nightmare.
and you have to, if you want to get the trophy for completing that level, you have to make your Katamari big enough to pick up the biggest bear. That level ends immediately the second you pick up a bear. So to avoid every bear and pick up everything, these bears aren't just sitting stationary, by the way. There's plenty of bears flying at you. There's plenty of bears you can barely see on the ground.
Barely. Nice.
I got him. So that I remember trying that level so many times, so late at night, over and over and over again. When I finally got it, I lost my mind. It's just such a difficult challenge. You don't have to do that to beat the game. You can get a smaller Katamari by just picking up a smaller bear. But if you want that trophy, you have to roll up only the biggest bear in the whole level. And the only way to get the biggest bear in the whole level is to make your Katamari big enough. The only way to get your Katamari big enough is to pick up basically everything on the level that is not a bear. And it's very difficult.
Is that like one of the harder things that you've had to do in a video game?
It's probably the hardest. I guess you could say the lightning jumps in Final Fantasy X were pretty tough.
I was watching a video of somebody doing the prototype challenges talking about how hard it was, And that's such a
remember you playing Prototype.
God, that's such a strong memory, getting that platinum trophy, and how brutal those stupid challenges were, and how you had to beat the times and the performance of the people who made the game. So
Those are the stupidest challenge.
They hadn't tested it to the point that you were supposed to reach. And it was just like, how do you know it's possible? And they're like, hey, just trust us. So miserable.
Clambos, if you weren't there for the early days of achievements, it was kind of not there as much by the time trophies launched, but there's still some bad ones. But
Yeah.
there's literally achievements out there that are be the best in the world.
Oh, God, yeah. I forgot. There was one where only 10 people in the world could get it, and it was one of those things.
Yeah.
Because it was, like, related to online, and they shut down the online after a certain point.
Now, luckily, we now have the technology. We now have the technology where a developer can take that trophy that used to say, do this in an online match. Okay. Say the servers go down, you can change that trophy to something else and it still triggers it and you can still get a platinum, which is nice. And you keep it if you got it from the earlier, because there's just now 2 triggers on it. Shouts out, he's not a friend of the show really, but Piston Hyundai, best in the world at Super Puzzle Fighter. I saw it myself, #1. Crazy.
Way to go, Piston Hyundai. Congratulations.
I'm impressed.
Me too.
And then, of course, Tears of the Kingdom. There's nothing I need to say about this game. Everybody rush out and play and buy Tears of the Kingdom. It's worth every single penny. I did 2 more dungeons. We're not going to talk about it. It's unbelievably good. I've been eating healthy. Real quick. Rapid fire. Carrots, hummus, grilled chicken, kura sushi with yellowtail, inari, umami oil, seared beef, shrimp, snow crab leg, toro something or other. Geese, please tell us about your things, please. But don't spoil Spider-Man, please. You want to just wait till next time?
Yeah, I'll just
Okay.
we'll talk about it next time so we can both discuss.
Smart.
And then I guess for eating, Aaron and I went to Costco and we got matching Costco hats.
She's wearing it.
Nice.
And a $5 rotisserie chicken. So we ate some of that. And then
any burger or hot dogs?
No, we didn't. We had just gone to the movies and we had food there,
no, I don't need your excuses. I need you to go back and get some hot dogs.
I don't like the hot dogs.
Oh,
Taylor, I hate hot dogs, but I said the same thing. What do you mean you didn't get a giant pizza and a bunch of ice cream? And Aaron gave me some sass. And luckily I saw later he left a nicer comment underneath, but I did not see the nicer comment underneath until way later. So I had my britches up in a
so you were sitting there seething.
I don't like the. Okay, they're too thick. I think they're too thick. I'm sorry.
They're manageable.
They're just not what I want. Okay, it's a great deal, and do I eat them often? Yes, but do I ever crave
$1.25? Are
them?
you kidding me? Are you joking me?
With a drink.
And it comes with a drink.
Yeah.
What a deal.
That's fine. I guess just go back to eating your single spaghetti noodles.
Owner of Costco said if they ever try to raise the price from $1.25, he's going to personally drive over there, grab them by the neck, and punch them until they're unconscious, and then burn them.
I'll bet their stock soared after that.
Actually, he said it, I think, a lot more violent than that. It was very
kill
funny.
My family if they increase prices.
Do you want to talk about the terrible diner, Geese?
Ooh.
Yeah, okay, so there's this diner that is literally a 5-minute walk from Aaron's apartment, and every time I'm here, I'm like, one day we're gonna go there. Like, one day we're gonna go. And it just so happened that yesterday was the perfect time, so we went, and it was really disappointing. It was not very good at all. It was kind of expensive, actually. So, one and done. Live
That's
that
too bad.
life, but not going back.
You mean like a diner with a whole bunch of potatoes and pancakes and stuff, right?
Yeah,
And it was
just wasn't that
expensive?
good. Yeah, I think it was expensive for like how much like food they gave you.
I haven't had a potato since the last time we recorded. Isn't that crazy?
That's good for you.
Wow.
Potatoes are not good for you.
They're certainly good for life, meaning your life is improved with them because they're the greatest thing on the planet. Taylor doesn't like
depends how
potatoes,
they're
Geese.
prepared.
Isn't that
I don't.
crazy?
Oh, no Costco hot dogs. It's okay. I just don't think people like potatoes as much as they think they do. I think they like fried food and salt and things that are vessels for other flavors like chili and cheese and sour cream and stuff. But I've never heard somebody say, "I'm gonna get home and microwave myself a potato."
I have literally done that several times. What are you talking about?
All I gotta say is potatoes are S tier, but I do think that a lot of people who eat unhealthy a lot and think healthy food is gross, they're really sleeping on carrots dipped in hummus. Because
I know.
correct me if I'm wrong, but carrots dipped in hummus, isn't that just basically 100% healthy? Like nothing negative
It's
about
pretty
that
good.
at
I
all?
mean, carrots have like a decent amount of sugar, but they
The
have
sugar, yeah.
some like beta carotene, which is really good for your eyes.
God, why is everything got sugar? God! Here I was thinking I was found a trick.
Well, if there's
Carrots
like
have like
a
a lot
fruit,
of sugar.
yeah, it's not the same for your blood sugar as eating a potato. Like if you just ate carrots versus just eating a potato, carrots are much healthier for you.
I should have gone celery. All right, let's move it along. Taylor, do you have something to say?
Boy, do I.
Oh, no.
Everybody needs to stop what they're doing after this podcast and watch a show called Just a Dash. It's a YouTube show with this chef named Maddie Matheson. So that's not normally my cup of tea. I don't like people who are aggressively slobby, right?
Oh.
But he's very into it. And just the quality of the programming and the style of show that it kind of morphs into over time is just very unexpected. It's like some artsy cooking stuff. Very, very funny. Great editing. I'm still playing 13 Sentinels. It's still great. So that's
You wrote
exciting.
14 Sentinels.
Yeah, I know. I'm just gonna keep adding a number for
Oh.
every time I put 13 Sentinels on there.
I see.
Eaton went to Dallas, which was great with pneumonia and knee problems, to do jewelry stuff. Bagels in Dallas are terrible. Ramen in Dallas is surprisingly good. We went to this place called Ichigo Ramen, which just shocked me so much. I've never had yuzu in ramen before, and I really like yuzu.
Oh, it's so good.
It's just
Ugh.
I didn't expect it because I'm not like I like citrus, but I don't like it that much to where I want it in everything. Like I want it in a drink. You know, I'll have it in coffee, but normally not in pasta or anything. And this was just stellar.
I had one of the best ramens I ever had in Kyoto, and it was this lemon ramen.
I had a similar experience with a lemon pizza in Alberta, which also closed. So that's sick. All the best things close, Clambos. That's the...
I want ramen so bad.
Do it.
Well, she's not
there's
in...
no good ramen places in
Yeah.
Make your
Madison,
own.
Wisconsin.
Make your own.
Speaking of not being by food you want to eat, I don't know who posted it, but I was watching this video of these bagels in Queens that, oh my God, I just want to die. They look so good.
I've had a lot of bagels in New York, and I was expecting. So I go to Montreal.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bagels from where?
Bagels from New York City, and it was.
You didn't commit. You didn't commit.
I stopped at the end because of my pnemonia. That's what.
Anyway, Taylor loves going New York.
New York.
He's dying.
Embarrassed and he quit halfway through.
You're gonna kill me. New York.
New York. The doctor always says if you slightly lower your voice, it makes your pneumonia worse.
It's true.
Yeah,
It changes it from walking to running pneumonia. So the bagels that I had in New York are terrific. They're fantastic. Anything freshly made is really, really good. Went to a few places in Montreal. Gotta say, Montreal has the best bagels on the planet.
Tried so hard when I was in Montreal to find a Montreal bagel, and I found one place that was in like a mall, and it was not that good, and I know I
Really?
didn't get the full experience.
Same thing happened to me, but it's just I went there at like my Montreal trip was terrible because I was still on working nights schedule, so I'd be waking up in the middle of the night, and I'd go to this bagel shop, and it was terrible.
That's what happened to me in Germany.
I had one
went
bagel
there
left, and it was
to get
bad.
pretzels, and I was like, "This is just a pretzel." Like,
yeah,
would
I
you-
went to Berlin and I was like, I know this isn't Bavaria, but like I want a pretzel, and it was disappointing. So.
We all goofed
Okay.
a big one. I'm sorry, everybody.
yeah, that's okay.
Sorry, guys.
Let's move it on to Poke news of the week. Geese,
news of the week.
Geese, I need a Poke.
Wait, hold on.
Did she even press a button?
News of the week.
Poke news of the
week.
Glambos, we're getting more and more cards coming from the Pokemon Card 151 set, and boy, do they look incredible. Please look them all up on Cerebi or Poke Jungle or Poke Beach. Any website will have all of the scans. Oh my god, Glambos, I'm going to be honest with you. There's no way I'm avoiding this set. The art is so good. I can't wait for them to reveal Gloom. I will immediately send it to Geese, so she's excited.
What makes the art good?
Oh, just look it up. It's so incredible. The art in Pokemon cards has gotten progressively better and better and better. Oh my god. This recent batch, the past few years, I think probably maybe pandemic had something to do with it, but I think the increased popularity of the cards have led to a lot more money coming in and a lot more artists really just going to town. Way more special art cards for just a Poliwhirl. Poliwhirl, just a normal Poliwhirl, gets a whole full art card, and it's just breathtaking image. The binder they're selling alongside this set is each sleeve that you put your card in is individually numbered for the Pokemon. Oh, it's so beautiful. Oh my god.
Do they?
Can we talk about this Tanglia card that I just sent in chat? It's so
Tanglia.
cute. It's Tanglia. What is it?
Tangela.
What is it? Tangela. Whatever. It's Tangela. It's Tangela swinging, using its little tendrils on a tree.
It's very
and
cute.
Another one is watching, and it's really, really, really cute.
I like that style a lot. Bright, colorful art takes up the entire page.
I'm going to catch a Tanglia, or I'm going to catch a Tangela, name it Tanglia, send it to Geese. Taylor got a big kick out of the, remember the Lapidust
Oh, God.
in Pokemon Go?
So funny.
All right, let's hear reporter Geese Peep on her squeaky voice talk about Paris.
Ooh. I just got past that episode of Ted Lasso.
Spoiler.
It's me, reporter Geese Peep, and the city of love, right? That's Paris, yes? Or lights? Which one?
Yes, it's the city of, they have
Paris.
the Louvre.
The Louvre.
Oh, oui.
You can buy du Barret.
Je suis Geese Peep. Anyway, I'm in Paris, where it's 73 degrees Fahrenheit and slightly cloudy, 41% humidity, with wind of 10 miles per hour. Ooh, wee wee.
Make sure to get the ice cream at the base of the Eiffel Tower.
Yes, wee wee.
Yum, yum, yum.
Omelette de fromage. Anyway, goodbye.
I wish more remote reporters said goodbye when they were
Yeah.
done.
Goodbye. That'd be fun.
Very.
Geese, would you like to tell us the title of today's episode in English?
English.
Learning
I will-
English can be fun.
I would love to. The title of this episode: A Washed-Ashore Treasure.
Or in Japanese, Nagaretsuita Takaramono.
Nice job.
Well, no, I can tell you the intonation was wrong there. But all right, Clambos, let's talk about the episode. I want to hear some excitement from the participants.
Pokemon.
That's
The peanut
correct.
gallery.
We get Clambos. This is episode 4.
London.
Clambos, this is episode 4 of the Horizons anime. We start with an introduction, an intro from our narrator Liko, the main character, one of perhaps more than one. Liko wakes up super confused, much like me every episode, me thinking, is she on an airship? Is she in a school? Who's to say?
Who's to say?
Every episode that starts, I always think, what did I miss? What's going on? And I'm just very confused at the beginning of every single episode.
No.
So when she wakes up and like gets up out of bed, like her bed does not
Oh,
look
not on the
comfortable
computer,
at
buddy.
all. I don't know how you can sleep on that.
Poor Geese is just thinking about all the terrible bed she has to sleep on, just going, oh, Liko, I feel you. The intro, hey, something I noticed in the intro song, they actually say the title of one of the previous episodes. If you listen carefully, they go Quito, the one we had 1,000 translations for. Clambos, the online classes are going to be starting soon. We learn from Liko as she talks to Sprigatito. We hear a Pokemon trying to sound to me like a bird. It's Fuecoco, adorable little Fuecoco, but he got spooked.
Oh.
Yeah, Fuecoco, the starter of the fire starter of Paldea region. He reminded me of Don Gato, my aunt's old cat. He was my favorite cat, and he loved me, and he always used to lay on my feet. But he used to sit at the windowsill and stare at the birds and speak bird to them, and it was cute.
Like make noises at the birds?
Yeah, he'd do chirp noises just like the birds.
Huh.
But Fuecoco's singing sounds like a bird to me. But Liko walks past him and he gets super spooked and runs away because he gets embarrassed when people hear us singing.
Hi.
But at least she has a nice change of clothes.
She does. She meets everybody in the breakfast room. I assume this is the breakfast room galley. So many compliments. Everybody is so into her outfit.
People in Pokemon don't change clothes. So it has to be a really big deal for them to see
Yes,
somebody
that's
wearing a new
true.
outfit.
So she's studying Sprigatito. Basically every day it's, oh my God, Sprigatito's using sweet scent, like always. Oh no, Geese, there's trouble with the ship. They gotta land on an island. And where is this island off the coast of?
Kanto.
Checks out.
Liko with Sprigatito's sweet sense is like you and I with OLEDs. Where it's just every time you just gotta say something.
Less so these days, but yeah. Just, oh man.
What a picture. Oh, it's like I'm in the room with them. Oh, wow.
Okay, Clambo, the first time we were ever looking at the OLED, and this was when a new Stranger Things season just started. And
I still remember that scene.
An OLED TV?
Yes,
Yeah.
the LG OLED 4K HDR or whatever. My memory tells me that image was 1,000 times better than anything I've seen since. So that's probably inaccurate, but it was just freaking me out, the black levels, because they were in a dark vehicle
Car, yeah.
when it was dark outside, and it just looked like it was actually in a dark vehicle, and I'd never seen that in my life on a screen, on an image. It was freaking me out. I was like, oh my God, why do I feel like Winona Ryder is right next to me?
I was having a lot of moments like that when watching Beef, because they go with very similar lighting. I kind of want to watch something like The Revenant, but I don't know if they released an HDR version of that.
I just talked about that. Revenant's the only film I've ever seen in a theater. I thought, oh, that looks 4K. That looks HDR. On a movie theater, that's the only one I've ever thought that. Anyway.
Which is interesting because they use natural lighting for it, right?
Oh, really? Maybe that's why.
Geyer, did you mention that they have to land because they're losing gas? There's a gas leak in the balloon.
That's coming up in I just know there's something wrong with the ship, but in my notes, I do have something written down here, So Liko gets a job today. Since she's going to live on here, I guess she's got to do a job. Her job is to feed all the pokes.
And she was on the observation deck, keeping watch.
And now we get to what Geese is talking about. I'm not going to say anything about these ruptures, but I will say I don't think they're going to look the same for the US release. I think they're going to change how they look. Where the gas is leaking out.
No.
Slambos, this is a family podcast, and I am not going to describe.
I did not see that at all. They look like regular tears. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, normal tears.
All right.
Nice clean tear.
Crocodile Man, what's his name again? Fuecoco.
Fue, just here's how you remember. Fue like fuego, fire, and coco.
Mm-hmm.
Fuecoco.
Yes.
Fuecoco. playing jump rope with Charizard's tail.
It's very cute. We haven't got there yet, but it's very adorable.
So I have kind of a dumb question because this happened two
Yes,
times in.
yes, dumb question from the field. Taylor, is
Yes,
that you?
yes. Dumb question here. Have we met the chef before
Murdoch?
this?
Yeah.
Several times.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, dumb question answered. Asked and answered. Frito, luckily, knows somebody on this island, so he's gonna ask him for help to get the great salami fixed. And
Great
now
salami.
we cut to adorable little Fuecoco, like Geese said, jump roping on Charizard's tail. Oh my God, Geese! Then what happens to Fuecoco?
So Frito is gonna take Charizard, and he's like, "We gotta go get some parts or whatever." And so they take off, and
So
Fuecoco
sick.
runs after them, and then loses control and falls off the airship into the water below.
Oh my, it's very terrifying.
So one, world's pretty much your oyster if you have a flying type Pokemon that is also very, very strong, because you're just good. You're just good to go.
Yeah.
Two, I've never been as horrified as I was watching Fuecoco fall into the water, because that's got to be instant death, right? Like, you couldn't have a water attack that's as strong as the ocean, right?
Most fire types can drink water and swim. It's not a big deal. If it hit him forcefully, maybe. But it's basically, I think, Charmander. They have that lore. I don't know if that's game accurate.
About the rain, huh?
Yeah. Then we cut to the Staryu and Krabby from the last episode, because I believe we ended on watching Roy at the beach do his little rock tricks. He pulls out the flag he got.
Seems like it'd be really heavy in a bag. That's like a lot of fabric.
Yeah, but kids don't know that.
Then we cut back to Liko. She's on the airship asking about Fuecoco. Has anybody seen Fuecoco? Turns out Lil Rockruff's a snitch, telling Murdoch that Fuecoco was trying to steal some treats because he was a little bit hungs. And I thought, Rockruff, mind your own business.
Makes sense for a dog. They probably naturally bred to be part of the Officer Jenny police department.
Yeah. Fuecoco's just trying to have a little snack.
But
Yes,
Officer
Geese?
Jenny has a weasel, a sneasel,
Growlithe.
Rat.
It's a Growlithe.
Oh, I'm thinking of the Alolan Officer Jenny. She has a weasel man.
Yeah, it's a weasel, man. The Pokemon.
A weaselly guy.
I wish
How
we
about
had
Gumshoes?
Weasel Man and Crocodile
Gumshoes!
Man in the same episode.
There's Young Goose and Gumshoes.
You could
Weasel
at least
Man.
say Mon. You don't have to say man. Like it's a Mega Man boss.
Okay. Oreo is sewing the ruptured metal with a needle and thread, asking Murdoch for help, as I imagine she would need to. And Ludlow's talking to Liko, spooking her, saying that Fuecoco was singing all morning.
What's Oreo's name? Because I always want to call her Rosie because of Rosie the Riveter, but
Her English name?
either.
Her English... Oreo is her Japanese name, which I prefer.
Okay.
Her English name is...
Vanilla wafers.
Got him.
Oh man, I was trying to think of the
Orla.
Yes, Geese?
Oh, I love that name, Orla. Good
Chrono Cross
Irish
character
name.
named Orla.
You should know then, Taylor. You had a whole thing about it. Ludlow going on about how embarrassed Fuecoco gets about his singing. And then Molly, everybody's favorite character, gives Sprigatito a little checkup. Sprigatito's in fighting shape. Liko's just running around trying to find clues from everybody. And then...
Molly tells her that he's usually around Charizard and that he looks up to Charizard, so to find Charizard.
So then Liko discovers the scratch marks where Fuecoco fell. And so she runs off the ship, and then she sees some little cute Fuecoco footprints in the beach. On the beach.
Beach.
And then Taylor's least favorite thing in every Pokemon episode. We cut to Fuecoco, and he is hungry. Poor little boy. Then we cut...
Why does there have to be pain in the world, you know?
Well said, Taylor.
Hunger is a great motivator, I guess, is the thing. And then we cut to Roy. He's doing his online classes, too. There's a bunch of kids talking about the pokes they caught. There was a Tailo and a Glammeow and a Stuffle.
I don't know if you two were having the same reaction I was, but the idea of a bunch of kids on a Zoom call discussing their future goals was very amusing to me.
Yeah.
Them just sitting there all plugged into one another, just saying, "So what does your future look like?" And I'm like, when I was 7 or 8 or whatever, I was playing with sticks.
I forgot. Clambos. I forgot
Yes.
to mention, Roy is outside right now. He's using a stump as his desk while doing his online classes on his Rotom phone. One thing I love about this little scene here with Roy talking to the kids, and the episode itself keeps jumping back and forth to see what all the characters are doing, but I'm just going to mention now, they don't come right out and say where the kids are from, but it's so cool to me that you can put 2 and 2 together, because at one point the kids are talking, like Geese and Taylor were saying, they're talking about what their goals are as Pokemon trainers. One kid says he wants to fight the gym leaders, and then one girl says she wants to challenge the totem Pokemon, which is cool to me because then you go, oh, she's clearly from Alola, which you could have gathered already because of the Stuffle, because that's an Alolan Pokemon. But still,
Yeah, I
it's
definitely knew
neat
that.
to see. Fuecoco's eating a bunch of berries in a hollow tree, and apparently there's no trainers on this island, we learn from Roy.
That seems so odd.
Maybe it's just a little island. I mean, there's no need for them, I guess. Like, who are they going to battle? That's the thing, I guess.
Well, trainers don't always battle. Like, sometimes they just have Pokemon to help with the work or,
That's not a trainer. That's just somebody who has a Pokemon.
I guess that's true. There's trainers who have Pokemon that help with their work, and those are like they're training them to be helpful for work.
No, that's not what. You don't just use the verb train and then you're a trainer. A Pokemon trainer is a specific job. You specifically go around and battle when you're a Pokemon trainer. The kids are telling Roy that since he lives in Kanto, he should go and catch a Pikachu, which goes to show Pikachu is very famous, even in the world, as a mascot for Kanto.
Well, especially in a post-Ash society.
We
Because
see
he won it all with Pikachu.
Oh, yeah. We see Caterpie, Weedle, Oddish, Bellsprout run by, and Roy shows off what appears to be an ancient Pokeball? ? What is this strange technology that perhaps will glow and make noises, not unlike an ancient pendant that summons legendary Terragapos pre-evolutions, perhaps? The online class starts, the teacher shows up, everybody's marked present, and then we see Fuecoco basically breaking and entering, just burst through somebody's little clubhouse and just ransack. We cut to Liko yelling out Fuecoco's name, still trying to find him. She's hot on the trail, Clambo. She's following. This is the plot of about 359 episodes of Pokemon. Basically, it's one Pokemon and a trainer looking at, oh, look, they walk past this bush. Oh, look, there's evidence here. Oh, God, Geese. But now, it's all the Pokemon from before, and they are furious.
Oh, God, Geese, but now. It was very funny.
All right. Now, in my mind, I was thinking, God, these are some xenophobic Pokemon. They see one Spaniard and they just get so upset looking at little Sprigatito.
I was very confused as well.
She's not Japanese. Get her. Because they keep trying to attack her. Poor Sprigatito. They keep trying to string shot her. But there's a scene here where the editing is really, really good. It's a very funny cut. It's kind of impossible to describe here why it's funny, but you'd have to watch the episode. Reminds me of a funny cut we had near the end of the Ash Farewell series when they're stuck in that forest. So I'm glad they're getting better at editing over there.
Yeah, this episode was definitely had, I think, much more of a variety of editing.
Well, all around, the quality is just much higher than I've seen in Pokemon, which is really nice.
We see in Roy's class that Nido Thing is now going on about Pokeballs. I guess Nido Thing has been hired to provide information for classes because she was telling Liko about the Pokemon Center when she was in the Pokemon Center.
No, this is just, he was watching after the class was done, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was like, oh, there's a new episode up or something like that.
Okay. We see some Scythers walk by very amusingly. Just an amusing little couple of Scythers walking past Roy.
Would be so terrified if I saw giant praying mantises in the forest. I would run away.
I mean, I think about that with most Pokemon, but I don't think people are scared of them because they're just so normal.
I think praying mantises are scary in general, so like having one that's like 5 feet tall.
I mean, yeah, they're horrifying.
From what I can gather, no Pokemon really bothers Roy. They're probably familiar with it. There are Pokemon people are scared of. If there was just a Gyarados, somebody'd probably be scared, is my guess. And now we get the first or second of many of Roy's sick rock tricks. He throws a rock and it hits a tree or something and he gets a berry. Oh my god.
Sick.
Roy sees that Fuecoco has destroyed his little secret base. He also follows the trail. And what does he hear, Geese?
Fuecoco singing.
Fuecoco's by a little tree up on a hill.
One Tree Hill.
Exactly.
I was about to say that.
Now, here's the thing, Clambos. Roy is from Kanto, so he's real familiar with the first 149 Pokemon. I'm not going to say he's familiar with Mewtwo and Mew, really, because I doubt he's seen them, but he's familiar with the Pokemon that normies know. So when he sees a Paldean starter, he's pretty impressed because he sneaks up from behind Fuecoco and it's like, whoa, what is that Pokemon? I've never seen a Pokemon look like that. Roy, of course, compliments Fuecoco on his singing, but as we know, Geese, how does Fuecoco feel about people hearing him sing?
He's shy.
So he gets spooked and he runs away and a giant chase ensues. Sonic the Hedgehog rolls and almost dies and falls in an abyss, but luckily Roy saves him. The big Ash energy here. Big Ash energy with that save, am I right, Geese?
I wrote down that I really wanted to see Ash and Liko travel together because it would be like watching Ash and anti-Ash.
And then Roy sees the Great Salami. Oh my god.
Man, I want salami now. You keep saying the Great Salami, and I would really want some salami.
Make a salami and maple bar sandwich.
That's your fault. You called the Great Asagi the Great Salami. You were probably thinking about salami back then, too.
I'm always thinking about salami.
Salami is very good. Salami, pepperoni, any kind of spiced cured meat I'm okay with.
I love the peppered salami. That's my favorite kind. The pepper encrusted salami.
Clambos, enough about the salami. Roy's house, where his grandpa lives, is the nicest compound I've ever seen. I guess when you just live on a little island, all the resources are just there for you, but my God, what a nice house.
I mean, you saw the treehouse he built for himself. I'm sure he learned that technique from somebody.
All these people are so wealthy beyond our wildest imaginations.
All 3 people who live on the island.
Turns out Gramps is livid with Professor Frida. And I say professor with quotation marks because this episode we get a lot of, is he a professor? No, kinda, sorta. Because in the translation, they give us professor with quotation marks as if he said it sarcastically.
I was expecting him to, when he called him professor and he said, don't call me professor. I don't know why I thought they were going to say, professor's my father.
I don't know what, because later he's asked about it and he says, I'm something like a professor. And Liko's under the impression he's a professor. It's confusing. Hopefully,
it is confusing.
Hopefully they will explain in a later episode what they mean.
Everything about Fried is confusing.
Fried.
I bet, man,
how much?
Roy's dad/grandpa knew Frito's father, and maybe he's took on the role of like professor adventurer like his father. I bet we're gonna learn some very interesting things about Frito's past, and I bet his father, spoilers, is the one that Roy's grandpa told him about when he was young.
Oh God, we got reports of rampaging Pokemon. We need to go save them. Oh. Then we cut to Roy, and he's talking to Fuecoco, and Geese's trying to get him to sing. Fuecoco is not interested. But eventually, how does Roy convince him, Geese?
He says that he really likes the singing, and that makes him feel better about it.
Well, specifically, Roy starts to sing first. by going la la la. And then they sing together, and it's very cute. Cut to Liko still being chased by all these Pokemon. There's some Diglett there now. Oh God, the Scythers. They are done for. We cut back. right as they're about to die, we cut back to Roy confiding with Fuecoco that one of these days he's going to leave this island and he's going to become a Pokemon trainer as they eat berries together. And then, Clambos, we hear Scyther screaming, and Roy says, "Oh God, what is Scyther screaming about? I better go investigate this. My ancient ball is glowing." I don't think he notices, but the audience does notice.
Because it's just,
Yeah, it's-
can't you see it in his partially zipped backpack?
Yeah.
But it's
Okay.
it's making a noise. We do see that Liko's pendant is glowing, so these two together are getting into some business here.
Between the amulet or stone that's on the amulet or pendant that is an amulet stone and the ancient ball that could also be an amulet, we've got some mystical forces at work.
Roy saves Liko from all the Pokemon, and they Tarzan over some tree branches. They scare off the Pokes with a rock throw trick. Well,
No, that's a Naruto run, is what that is.
The kids get away from the Pokes, and so they're sitting there away from them in safety, or so we think. And they're discussing the airship and ancient adventurers and a treasure hunt. Now, this is interesting because the Scarlet Violet video games, that's a whole third of the game is the quote-unquote treasure hunt. And you have to define what your own treasure is. It's a whole thing with the video games.
Okay.
Geese.
Okay.
Who shows up to Roy and Liko?
All the angry bug Pokemon.
And some grass types.
And some grass types.
Sprigatito used leafage. And then I thought to myself, oh yeah, what are we worried about? Sprigatito's been fighting the scariest Pokes in the world. Nothing's going to happen against these, but oh God, they lose. The bug types spring shot all of them. They're done.
I mean, yeah, Sprigatito's shown up to the fight, but Sprigatito's also never won a fight. It mainly just it temporarily confuses the other Pokemon and then runs away.
Fuecoco tries to do a little attack and it doesn't work. And all of them get wrapped up and they're just dragged away. And this was actually a very funny shot. I screenshot this one of them just being dragged and they're just their little heads in the string shot ball.
The whole sequence was very funny because when Fuecoco started like building up to the attack, I was like, oh, it's finally going to use it. Fire type attack is so good here. And then it didn't work. And I was very surprised.
Okay, Geese. What do we find out is what all the Pokes are mad about this whole time?
That Fuecoco ate all the food that they gathered.
Oh my God, Fuecoco, you did it this time.
I like how they put them in a web and just kind of like shame them. Like just put them in front of where the food was and then just yelling at them.
That is I mean, they're probably going to attack them. Who's to say? And then Geese. But wait, what do I normally say? Oh, and Geese. Who shows up now to save the day?
Frito and Charizard.
And Captain Pikachu.
So I had some thoughts here. One, how terrifying for all the Pokemon for this just intimidating flame dragon to come out of nowhere.
Clambos.
It would be familiar.
Well, Charizard's still scary. Before anybody's scared for the Pokemon, Frito very clearly tells Charizard, don't murder them, please.
Yeah, but they don't know that. Two, do Pokemon know their own weakness when they see it in another Pokemon?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Well, that's got to be like evolutionary. Like, you don't put your hand on the stove, right?
Yeah, through which we find out through evolution.
Shut.
I mean, they don't seem
think
like
it's
they've had a
learned.
lot of it. I'm sorry, Geese. Yes, what?
I think it's learned. I think they learned from other Pokemon.
Well, because they were chasing after Fuecoco, and when Fuecoco went for an attack, if they had experienced a fire attack before, they would be like, oh no, this is not something I want to be a part of. But instead, they were just like, I don't care.
A, he's not that strong. B, there's
Right.
only one of them. It's clear he's a little guy. C,
Yeah.
they don't know that Pokemon. They're Cantonian.
Yeah.
They've probably never seen a Fuecoco.
Yeah, so I wonder if they've seen a bunch of Charizard flying around. I mean, either way, they're going to be intimidated, but I was wondering about the weakness resistance thing.
I don't think that they've seen a lot of Charizard. I think they are probably familiar with the concept of a Charizard.
They're familiar with his work.
Yes.
So they see a Charizard and they can see the lineage there, and they're like, I know what that comes from.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying in the games you only get the one starter. In the show, it seems like starter Pokemon are pretty rare. You got to send Gary Oak to find some starter Pokemon. You can't just like go in your backyard and see a bunch of starter Pokemon. But then they have like the Bulbasaur Force.
So Frito does some parkour basically while the angry Pokemon are webbing. And after the parkour ensues, we see that he has escaped from the webbing and all of the Pokemon have webbed themselves. And then he goes with Captain Pikachu and stuffs berries in their mouths.
It's a much better strat than what Charizard was going to do, which is just flamethrower all of them. So Frito said, let me do my ninja tricks with Captain Pikachu, and we're just going to feed the Pokemon, then they're going to be happy. And it's very true. Caterpie was thrilled after he ate his little snack that Frito carries in his pocket.
That's why you always have to have granola bars or trail mix, because you gotta fight the hangry.
I
Yeah?
always have snacks. Constantly, I always have snacks. But I don't think most people have snacks in their backpack.
I'm not a snacker. What can I say?
That's very true. Polar opposite of me, where I could just eat for 20 hours straight.
I always carry snacks with me whenever I go out in case I or another family member or Aaron get hangry. So
Clambos, there are a lot of people out there who their emotional state is very affected by hunger. And some people don't experience that. I'm not one of them. If I'm hungry, that's an isolated thing. I can think, oh, hunger. That's kind of annoying. But it doesn't affect me in any way. It doesn't change my mood. It doesn't make me incapable of doing things. I just think, oh, I need to get some food at some point. And the thing about hunger is it's more of just waves. So I'll feel hungry for a little bit, but then if I just wait, that feeling will go away.
Yeah, I'll have like really intense pain in my stomach, and then I'm like, okay, well, that went away. I'm good.
Most of my family, they suffer from hunger-based emotional responses.
Then you would think they would carry snacks with them.
I know, but they don't take care of themselves. They just don't do it. So I have to do it. I carry the burden for my family so I don't have to deal with them being buttholes.
I get it.
So, okay,
I've been put in that role too.
So this is when Roy asks Fritos as if he's a professor, and he says something like that, as we mentioned earlier. We hear some good game music, and Liko and Roy are going to collect some food for the Pokemon as a big ol' apology for Fuecoco eating all their food. So then on the Charizard, we see Liko and Fritos and Captain Pikachu and everybody on Charizard's back flying away. And I think to myself, wow, they're just going to leave Roy? That's not what I expected in this episode. And of course, we zoom into Roy's face, and he is very sad they're leaving without him.
He had a funny little face change, too.
Yeah. We cut to the Great Salami at night. Liko's snoozing. Sprigatito starts to tap her awake. She hears Fuecoco singing out on the, what is it called? The poop deck? The observation deck? Is Fuecoco perhaps singing, calling to Roy? Who's to say?
Or just singing about how confusing the wing system is on the aircraft.
Yeah, that could be it. Then we see Roy. He's laying in his little tatami bed. Can't fall asleep, holding his little ancient Pokeball.
Steampunk Pokeball.
Very sick. What if it's the first Pokeball? It's not.
And
I wonder what the first Pokeball looks like.
Play Legends Arceus. You'll see it.
Really? Is it like wood?
Yeah, it's like steampunk Pokeball. And then out of nowhere, we cut to Mystery Man, Butler, Evil Man, saying verbatim, Pendant Master Gibeon seeks.
I can't believe they were like, oh, let's come up with a name. How about Gideon? No, we need to do something mysterious. Flip the D around.
Oh my God. The evil butler is, of course, FaceTiming Amaranth. What was that, Geese?
I'm like, what if he's just a gibbon, the monkey?
Yeah, probably a gibbon.
I thought that was a bird.
Like the monkey. Butler's hair is kind of like Gladion's from Sun and Moon.
Yeah.
And we see Amaranth is on a sub. What's he on, a nuclear sub? And he's so...
They are tracking. They put a tracker on the flying salami, and they're following it. So they're right underneath the flying salami.
I get it.
And they don't want to get detected by the flying salami, and that's why they're in the water.
So smart. Still a weird ending. That's the end. It says, to be continued as the little sub scoots off away underwater.
I wonder if Soul Blades ever operates a sub and just uses Psycho Cutter.
Ceruledge.
Sure. I also wrote, I can't remember when it happened. I think Roy was talking about the Pokeball with Gramps, and it was, or talking about his grandfather telling him about the Pokeball, and there was something that's making me crack up. Him saying, "Oh, whoa, Gramps, do you think this Pokeball's super old?" And Gramps is like, "I don't know, maybe." And Roy's just like, "Whoa." Such a little kid moment.
Yeah. So then we get the outro, which is the same as last week, which was kind of disappointing to me. We get the what all Pokemon end in dawn, which was funny last week because in English, only 2 of them ended dawn. Lots of fun. And now we get, at the end of the episode, Professor Frito's seminar. Geese, take it away.
For today's seminar, we're learning about Fuecoco. And he starts off by explaining that the tufts on their head may look like hair, but they're actually flames.
Which I did not know that. This was news to me.
I did not know that either. They don't.
Well, yeah, because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. But Professor Frito asks, what can you tell from the flames on its head? And the options are A, happiness, B, sadness, and C, anger.
Taylor, what's the answer?
D, all of the above.
Exactly. All his feelings you can see in his little fire hair. And,
especially hunger.
Yes, that's when he's the most emotional. We see a cute little image of his hair fire turning into a heart when he sees Captain Pikachu eating a citrus berry. And he's drooling. Clambos, thank you for listening to this episode of Pokemon. I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to move right on to the wrap-up because I'm looking at the time and I got to watch Spider-Man.
And I got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take
and
it
I
away.
had to go to the bathroom at Spider-Man.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Wait, what did you say?
What? I said I have
Take
to
it
go
away,
to the
Geese.
Spider-Man.
I'm sorry, what were you saying, Geese?
No, what did Geese
Look,
say?
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Thank you all for listening. Please follow us on social media at LookListenCast on Instagram.
Woo! Strong one today. Too many Red Bulls.
On Twitter.
Look at those Instagrams.
And YouTube.
Ooh.
Thank
Got
you to
kind of
Keith.
a church vibe today.
Yeah, it did sound like an organ.
Thank you to Keith for our artwork. You can follow him on twitch.tv/KeithSquared.
Thank you to all our supporters. You can go to looklistencast.com and support us monthly on Spotify for podcasters. Please do that. Thank you to all our supporters. Taylor, please thank Professor Ticklebits for the...
Thank you, Professor Ticklebits.
For the
boilerplate. Some would argue the backbone of any podcast.
Yes. Please recommend this podcast to your friends, families, grandmas, cousins, nephews, and nieces. And please send your questions to looklistencast@gmail.com, much like DrivingDVan. Please, Geese, read the question.
If you were given a month free of any responsibility, how would you spend it?
So that means no job. You don't have to work. I'm assuming you're still getting paid. Probably vacation, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Straight
I
back
would
to
go
Japan,
the
Evan.
beach.
Geese be at the beach?
Beach?
Taylor?
I'd just be diving. I would just go diving, I think.
Diving
Yeah, we
for
would
an
go to the
entire
beach
month.
together.
Well, it would be... Wait, say what?
We would go to the beach together, and like while I'm on the beach, you're diving.
So you can 100% do that in Orange County. So Orange County has all of these little pocket beaches that just have these really elaborate, gigantic reef systems. And there you can 100% go diving in there. It's cool because like you can go through coral reef tunnels and the current goes through them because you're so close to the beach. So what you do is and this is tough because I'm 6.5 feet tall. You grab onto the coral walls, wait for the current to push against you, and then time it and let go of the wall, and you're like a little torpedo going through it. It's really fun.
Whoa. What's the coolest thing you've ever seen on a dive?
So at Catalina, which is my favorite diving destination. So gray barracuda are really, really cool just because they're so huge. They're like 8 feet long, and they're very like aggressive. So they don't... Barracuda. That maybe diving with seals is always fun because they try to take off your fins and they're very playful. And I would say I saw a bull shark in Florida that was pretty cool, but it didn't get very close.
All right, Clambos, I gotta go. This conversation is interesting, but
giant sea bass. They're 7 feet long. They're like 400 pounds, and it looks like an enormous regular fish. And you can see them in Catalina underneath the thermocline. There you go. That's my answer.
Oh my god. Okay, Clambos, we'll finish the diving talk next week on Pokemon Look, Listen, Cast with Geese Guyera, episode 48 on a Friday. Okay, goodbye. Talk to you later. Goodbye. Say goodbye, Geese. Three times.
Bye.
With a voice filter.
One more.
Goodbye. Howdy, y'all. It's me, Geese Pete. Thank you for listening to the Geese Pete Productions podcast.
Geese Peep Enterprises, doing business as Peep Industries, together with its subsidiaries, is a diversified worldwide entertainment company with operations in media networks, talent management, parks and resorts, multimedia entertainment, and consumer products and interactive media. Geese Peep Enterprises is a Dow 30 company.